Hey guys, welcome back. All right, so thank you once again for being with me. So as always, I like to do these bonus reads usually after my hikes in the morning. And so sure enough, I got something to say after today's hike. So, I mentioned in the previous reading that I actually had just posted last night, which was a big delay, but my day was kind of different. But I mentioned like there has been a lot going on in my world in the last 2 weeks. It's all been like changes and obstacles and things like that. And when I was hiking this morning and in particular looking at my fuzzy dog and just feeling a lot of gratitude, not just for my life. I always feel grateful for my life, but grateful for the unseen protective forces that are at work in our lives all the time. And I feel like this reading is all about protection. What kind of protection has been around you that maybe showed up in unexpected ways? So brief recap on my last 2 weeks. I had traveled to go see family. I always schedule my visits for times when we've got a bunch of hard labor to do because my brother and I take on big projects together, things that would be so expensive to try to hire people to do on his property. It's just not possible. So said we do it together. And during that time, I lost my voice because I have a lung issue from childhood and it produced a bad case of asthma for me that flares up from time to time. And I actually lost my voice for about 6 days because of it, which was perfect because I needed that time to just spend with my brother and getting some big projects accomplished. And I felt so good doing it. And so like, it was just what I needed, to just be outside and to not be talking and just be physical. And the two of us together accomplished a bunch of really gnarly jobs that neither one of us necessarily loves doing, but we sure love it when it's done. So that was a gift. Then when I headed home, I got trapped in a sandstorm and I had to delay my travel home, which was nice because it's a big, long drive. And instead of doing it in one 24-hour extravaganza, I got to do it broken up over 2 days. And I got to see a sandstorm I wouldn't have traded anything to see that. It was beautiful. But the following day, on the second leg of my journey home, I wound up getting in a car accident that didn't amount to anything, not even really significant damage to the car, just a little bumper dent. And it could have been really bad. And I think probably if I had been traveling all the way through the way I had intended that night, if that sandstorm hadn't kept me and made me have to alter my plans, I might have had that same accident, but in the middle of the night, and maybe I wouldn't have been so lucky. I feel like everything that has happened has always had, you could be like, oh man, I had an accident. Or it could be like, man, do you know how lucky I was in this accident? It's all about perspective and it's all about who knows what it could have been. All I know is I feel a lot of gratitude for exactly the way everything has worked out. And yet everything showed up in context of obstacles or accidents or problems. And yet all I feel is protected. So I don't know if some of you have that awareness also in your own life, especially right now. But I thought I would share that because it's like, I was really feeling that today, that beautiful energy and that absolute confidence that there's a lot of protection around us. And it doesn't always show up the way we think, because it's not a promise that we won't encounter obstacles or accidents, but rather sometimes those things have a secondary benefit as well, right? So let's start that reading with that concept of protection. And we begin by they're kind of defensive or they're kind of worried about something. With that Two of Swords, they're back to us, they're blindfolded, they're in every way protecting themselves, not knowing perhaps that they already are protected. We have the Tower that is in the reverse. So someone might be really nervous or even afraid to have a conversation, to look at swords as our thoughts that can then also become our conversation. Somebody is maybe terrified to have a conversation because they think staying silent will actually prevent maybe a difficult conversation that could then create something falling apart. But the thing is, this is real stagnant energy. And this is almost saying, but we can't be afraid of change. The Tower is about change. Someone's afraid if they turn around and face something. It's almost like when little kids think, with peekaboo, if they can't see you, you must be gone. But that's not how that works. Turning our back to something or not having the conversation doesn't mean that we're going to avoid conflict. And in fact, sometimes the conflict is not what we want to avoid. We want to handle it because it cleans energy out. It's interesting because someone is perhaps thinking that they need to fight to protect something, when in fact, it's the universe wants things to flow, is what this looks like to me, with especially this star card. So we've got the sacral chakra here, so the house of emotion and sensuality. Maybe somebody is not ready to deal with the emotions that would be stirred up if they had a certain conversation. Maybe they're protecting themselves because they feel like they need to, they're not ready to deal with a potential upheaval. But this is the solar plexus chakra. This is the house of willpower. Someone is trying to use their willpower to stave off something that they consider could be dramatic. Maybe they're afraid of speaking a truth because they don't want somebody to tell them off and tell them, I don't like what you did. Maybe somebody doesn't want necessarily to be held accountable for something. The only reason I'm saying it this way is because this tower is a delight. In my opinion, I love towers because it sets us free. And as you can see, the devil is falling out of one side in this card and she's being released on the other side. Somebody is like, maybe they don't want to admit to something they feel guilty about or ashamed of. So they're trying to protect themselves from what they perceive as a judgment against them for something that they already feel bad about. But the thing is, the star card is about healing. This is like, the universe doesn't want anybody to linger in a place of this stuck energy. It's almost like somebody needs to do this cathartic, like, sorry, I'm going to say it, verbal vomit. I know vomit's not a very nice word. But like, if they could just get this stuff out, get it off their heart, get it off their chest, instead of, it's like they're taking a different approach to, they think they're protecting themselves against something that they're feeling rattled by. But I feel like it's someone who's afraid that speaking a truth will cause destruction. But the thing is, they're already isolating themselves, which means they're not really enjoying where they are. It's basically like they've confined themselves. Under the impression that they're protecting themselves, they have actually instead confined themselves, and they believe that that's how they can avoid having a collapse. But in fact, I feel like they're keeping themselves more stuck, but they don't see it that way. They can't see it because they're blindfolded. This is like the universe is kind of like urging it, going, sweetheart, let down that protective mechanism because you're already going to be protected here. There is love around you. Let me put it this way. If this is, sometimes when we get our hearts hurt, we go into that self-preservation mode, perhaps, where we say, I'm not going to open up again. I'm not going to let myself get hurt like this again. I'm not going to love again. And then we wall ourselves off. I've done it. Who hasn't, right? We all do that. And it's almost like that's like a default mechanism, or perhaps that was only for me, but I had to realize that I was doing that. And realize that was actually making sure that I also, not only could I not move forward, but I also couldn't really heal because I wouldn't like fully face it or rip off the Band-Aid, So, hey, I've learned that lesson. Probably more than once I've learned that lesson. And yet this heart chakra, the universe has so much love, and it's right here. I mean, it's literally right here. This is healing, and the amount of love that you have to give, or the amount of love that someone could receive. This person is standing here looking at this situation going, I am literally overflowing with abundance that I would love to share with you. So either this is someone you've dealt with who they really struggle because they have this, I'm going to say, a mistaken idea of what it means to experience protection. Maybe this is somebody who never felt very protected in their life, so they're overprotective of themselves, without realizing that everything they think they're doing is actually producing stuck energy instead of protected energy. Because it's really like, look, the universe is not out to get you. Love is not out to get you. Do we experience hurt? Absolutely. But is that all there is? No. That hurt is not all that exists. Look at the world around us. The world around us is beautiful. Are there moments of hurt? Sure. But there's also, I would argue, way more moments of beauty around us. And there are more kind people that you are intended to meet. If you have known people who have made you feel defensive and hurt, that is terrible. And you should not have had to go through that. However, the world is not just made up of people that would hurt your heart. The world is made up of people that are overflowing with love, that would be compassionate and be loving and would actually match you in your kindness. So you do want to allow yourself to meet those people. This is out there for someone, whether it is you are representing this. You could be an Aquarian, but if you are the person who represents this, you are the one who's looking at somebody going, come on, sweetheart, don't keep yourself locked up. I got all this good to share with you. It's a very sweet vibe. With that tarot card, we also have Aries energy, and then we have Libra, Gemini, Aquarius in general here with the sword energy. The Hanged Woman in the reverse, Piscean energy here, and third eye chakra. Somebody already knows this. They do. They're working up the courage to basically, I feel like, step toward this abundance that they do know is out there. Someone's pretty much, I think they're even tired of sitting in this stuck energy where they're, protecting themselves. What I want to say is, if you are aware of somebody who has kept themselves really isolated, rejected love offers that you've tried to make to them, you simply stepping further and further into this energy of knowing your own personal abundance, knowing that you believe in like the kind of like the universal love, that the universe does want you to enjoy your time in the 3D world, and that we are a blend of the 5D and the 3D, and that many experiences are going to help shape us, even the negative ones. But even those, there's a reason for those, and there's a reason to be grateful. And the more you step into that energy, I feel like the more you are somehow transmitting this confidence to someone else to stop fighting, stop defending where there doesn't need to be defense. It's like, I am not your enemy. I feel like that's the vibe that you are putting out, or that is the vibe that you are maybe perhaps both energetically putting out, and it's you're really soaking that up. You're soaking it up maybe from the universe with those stars up in the sky. Maybe this is you like really having that click in your mind and say, I am protected. I am loved by the universe. And those painful moments, they could be defining in your life, because painful moments could help us make an epiphany or set us on a new trajectory. But ultimately, you are a being full of light and a being full of love. And you know that you have so much value and you have so much to offer in this world. And you know that there are more. It's like, why am I waiting for life to get good? Life is good now. Why am I waiting for a miracle? It's a miracle that I'm here. Every day is a miracle. I'm not waiting to become happy. I am like a source of happiness, both to myself, with my connection to the universe, and with what I can actually show to others, my wisdom that I have to transmit. Some of you have a great deal of wisdom. Maybe you've not put it into words. Maybe it's more of, some of you might do acts of service. Some of you see how she's like literally like, it's overflowing. Her abundance is overflowing. If this is a message where some of you haven't realized what a positive impact you have on those around you, this might be a message where you understand that and like reconfirm that within yourself. But I feel like your energy is definitely affecting someone else who's been in a stuck energy, or you're just looking back and reflecting saying, wow, I used to be a little stuck, but I'm not anymore. I don't feel like that. I feel like it's the first scenario, where I feel like your sense of abundance and your trust in the universe and your gratitude for life, everything that you're filled with and everything that you have tried to just like consistently, energetically send out, perhaps to one particular person that you care about, who's been very guarded, very defensive, protecting themselves for all the wrong reasons against someone like you who is not their enemy. I feel like there is a significant change coming over this person. This is that throat chakra. This is somebody finding their speech. This is somebody getting on that like pony of passion and riding forward. It's like something all of a sudden clicks in this person. Oh, wait a second. You're not my enemy. Wait a minute. You mean you've been trying to reassure me all along that there is great happiness that we can tap into, but we have to actually become aware that there's great happiness out there and that the universe is not out to get us, that there's not malevolent forces. There are people that make bad decisions and they hurt our feelings sometimes, but there's no such thing as malevolent forces and dark spirits that are attacking you. There's nothing to be afraid of. There's actually the gift of being a part of this beautiful world. That's a huge and incredible gift. And for all the moments of hurt or the moments of fear, that's also where we see a lot of heroes rise up, is in those moments. That's how we dub them a hero, because they overcame a scary moment and we watched them and they inspired us. Even that has its purpose. Even that has its place. It's like you accept all of this, you know it at some really profound level. And there is this beautiful vibe that you have. And because you've chosen, I feel like this is, like I say, like a recommitment, or choosing this, becoming aware that that is how you perhaps perceive the universe and your place within it. There's something joyful inside of you that's either reawakening or that is just about to like start gushing and overflowing. And that energy vibe that you are putting out there, it is shifting not only your life, but it's having a profound effect on at least one other person, is what it looks like. Somebody who is suddenly, they're able to say something. What is it that they want to say? I am so delighted with this reading. I didn't know where this one would go. Hold on, we need a better deck, I feel like. Something that has more. Yeah, we'll go this route. What do they want to say with that Knight of Wands? It's passionate. It's an impassioned speech, and it's somebody who is suddenly coming in. Somebody who is ready to speak something from the heart. And the only reason I say that is because that is the throat chakra. Someone who is, wow. Somebody who is ready to work together, to open up emotionally, and to actually, I want to say, talk about the things that they didn't talk about before, the fears that they had. That Four of Pentacles. There was a fear of losing, a fear of being oppressed. This might be something where someone came into this world with either a collection of experiences that instilled a fear in them of like losing their sense of independence or getting swallowed up in someone else's energy, because maybe they did have people that oppressed them at some other point in their life and they didn't recognize that, like, I want to say like a gentle kind of love where it's like, you know, you're giving to them and you hope that they'll receive your love offer. If someone ran from a love offer because they believed that it would actually be a way to capture them, net them, hold on to them, force them into whatever like mental, I'm going to say prison, that perhaps they saw this play out with other people in their relationships, or perhaps someone always wanted to get the upper hand over them. Maybe they fought their whole life to be independent and not be under someone else's authority. If someone mistook an offer of sincere love as this is like a honeyed, you know, sweetly placed net that someone's trying to trap me in, this may have been something that they didn't really know how to explain, that that's how they felt until now. Now that they're actually realizing, oh, that was you were offering me the chance to to cooperate if I wanted to grow something with you if I wanted to. Yours wasn't, it wasn't like rules and expectations and coercion. It was like, do you want to grow this garden with me? Someone didn't see that until now. That's what the big revelation is. It has something to do with someone's perception of, it's weird because trying to protect themselves from your love offer or from your kindness, someone like pushed it away because they needed to be so independent, so autonomous. But I feel like that came from a place of fear that if they allowed, it's almost like somebody who doesn't want to accept a gift from someone because then they're going to feel obligated to try to give something to that person, because maybe in the past, anything that they were ever given, it always came with an attachment of, now you owe me. And it's like, but I didn't ask for this gift in the first place. So why do I owe you? You know, a gift is supposed to just be given and that's it. That's the full exchange. It's not with an expectation that I gave you that. Now you need to do something for me. People that give that way, that is like, that's not nice, right? That's not sincere. That's not a gift for the sake of a gift. This is somebody, maybe that's all they knew, is like the manipulation tactics, that if someone gave them anything, then they would hold dominion over them and they could call upon them for favors. And I expect you to do this, this, and this for me, because without ever, it's that unspoken thing where I gave you something, that means you're now mine or you owe me. Like that might have been what someone was first perceiving an offer of love as. They didn't realize you come from such a different place. That's not, you freely give love. You may want to be respected, but that's not the same as placing basically like it's not a bartering tactic, or it's not a currency. You didn't give somebody something and be like, okay, good. Now later on, when I want this from them, I'll come and I'll tell them what I want. This person, it just now clicked in their mind that you weren't asking for anything. You were not trying to hold dominion over them. You don't operate that way. So all of them protecting themselves against you, they were actually pushing away a gift from the universe, because that's the other thing that the star card is. It's a gift from the universe. Someone just couldn't see it. They couldn't see it until now. And now it's like, oh my God, not only do I want to give you something in return, because I know that you're not asking for anything in return, but I want to receive the gift that you're giving me as well. I feel like somebody would not receive the gift of love, and they didn't understand that you were inviting them to grow something with you. You loved them regardless of whether or not they were going to want to invest, but they couldn't receive that. And they didn't know how to explain why they had been afraid of that, perhaps. That's what they had held back. That's the part that they hadn't had the conversation about. With that Page of Swords in the reverse, that's what the side about. This person might have had to kind of like keep themselves aloof and away from you for a while to contemplate this within themselves. It's interesting. It's very interesting. I really like this vibe, because we are talking about, there is a protection, and the protection that I'm talking about comes from the sense of love. When we love someone, we will do our best to not harm them, because we don't wish ill upon someone. We want them to be protected, whether they're with us or not. I feel like you might have displayed that, where it's like, oh, I just hope that you're happy then wherever you do go, since you don't want the love I offered you. I hope that you find the one that you do want. And you might have just left it at that and released them. That may be another major turning point, because this seems like it's at a distance. Our knights are our travelers. Our knights are our ones that have to be, they're literally on the move. This would be somebody who is, there's some form of distance, but I feel like it is physical distance. But someone is, it's clicked in their mind. It's clicked. There was something that they were keeping themselves stagnant while trying really hard not to get themselves captured. And yet they were doing the exact wrong thing by thinking that you were trying to capture them with something as simple as an offer of kindness. I think that it's finally clicking for this person, that there wasn't an obligation that you were placing upon them. So I like this reading very much. So I hope that that makes sense. And you guys, thank you so much for being with me. All right, take care. Be well, everyone.